It's July 24th, and this is your Saturday preview of your Sunday sermon. So we've been doing the series on the letters of John, and we've completed 1 John, and tomorrow we're going to read the entire book of 2 John, which is very short, so do not fear. The thing about this 2 John is that it doesn't really introduce any brand new themes. It summarizes, to a large extent, what is very important to John. And so it can serve as a reminder, a summary of his teachings. It does appear to be a letter to a congregation, and we can talk more about that on Sunday. But one thing that is made very clear in this letter is to beware of heresies, beware of false teaching, especially the false teaching that seems to be a problem at the time of the writing, that Jesus did not come in the flesh. That Jesus, John wants us to understand that Jesus was the Son of God. Also Jesus was the Son of Man. Jesus was God incarnate in us, and we are to abide in him. So it's important that we know really who Jesus is. In the process of writing this sermon, I got a chance to kind of test myself on this. My office at Still Waters is connected to the house where our folks live. A couple of families can live. And so a young man going into second grade came into my office and said, "Hi, Joyce, I want to talk to you." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "So, what's so special about these teas?" I knew what he was talking about because it's the second time he's asked me about the teas in my office. And if some of you figured out what it is, you're more clever than me. It took me a second. The first time he said, "Why do you have teas all over your walls?" And I was like, and then I realized it's the crosses. I have lots of crosses on the walls, on my bulletin boards, on my window. I don't know how, I just kind of started collecting them, I guess. Anyway, I've got lots of crosses in that Still Waters office, and he wanted to know why. And so this last time that he asked me, we began to talk a little bit about Jesus, and I said, "Well, you know who Jesus is, don't you?" And he said, "Yeah, Jesus and God, they're the same." And I said, "Well, yeah, that's right." But I said, also, Jesus came and lived as us. Jesus was one of us. Jesus is also like our brother. He came, and it was the way God, showed us how much God loved us, because God came in the person of Jesus and lived like we live. So he had pain like we had, he had suffering like we had, and he had happiness like we had, and he lived and died like we do, and he understands because he loves us. And the little boy said, he'd been talking, I'd been driving with him, I had to pick him up from daycare, and he'd been talking about some kid that had hit him, and he said, "So, does God feel my pain?" And I said, "That's a really good question." I said, "Yeah, I think he does." I said, when God loves us, and he knows us, and he wants to be with us, so yes, I think he hurts when you hurt. And he said, "Did anybody ever beat Jesus up? Did Jesus ever get punched in the face?" And I said, "Oh yeah, Jesus got beat up just about as bad as anybody could ever beat anybody up. And then he got hung up on one of these crosses like you see. And I have a couple of crucifixes. They're really small, but he always asks about those. And I said, so when I look at those, I know how much God loves me. Well, you can only go so deep with a second grader who really, this is all brand new to. And at the time, I was praying to God not to say anything dumb or confusing or misleading. And I was thinking, how are you receiving this? And I just had the assurance that, you know, God is at work too. It's not just my words, but it's also not just my words, just my actions. You know, this child is looking to see who Jesus is. And so I pray that he will come to know through mind, body, and spirit, as he has opportunities to draw closer to God. But who is Jesus? How would you describe what's so special about all these T's? We have a lot of T's in our church too. What's so special about those? Think about that, and we'll talk about it a little bit more tomorrow. Have a good day.